You didn't choose the house, but now it's yours. So now what do you do? And we're specifically talking about you inherited a home from, assuming family, it's usually family. You inherited a home. Sometimes you may have siblings. You may have other people who have a right to the home. And you're trying to make a decision what to do. And a lot of times we know.
Or there's no will and you don't have.
You haven't inherited a home.
Knows
it's just,
is in charge.
It's a whole nightmare. So we're not going to get into the full probate side of it because that is not our realm. But we do have some amazing probate friends that can help us out with this. But a lot of times our hands are tied until that's figured out usually. And then a lot of times we see the decision is to sell it, always to sell it. And I'm as much of a believer as you are that why are we selling it?
The way we look at it, typically those houses are paid off. Mm-hmm. They've been paid off for a long time.
Or at least 50% or more equity in it, like great cash flow.
So you initially, everybody, somebody died or what, they're moved to assisted living, we got to sell the house. And we talk with our realtors. Yeah. And it could go either way. Either way is a good
you should have choices.
They should have choices.
But it's not an automatic, you have to sell it immediately. Everybody's like, put it on the market, sell it. And it just doesn't. And they don't want to do the updates needed to get it to market ready. So they're not going to get as much money for it. And that's just a check every month that you're just going to, it's like getting rid of the whole cow
you would think.
Like, get the milk every month.
It's a very stressful time.
It is, yes.
You got some family members, they want to keep it. Some family members, they grew up in it.
Yes.
But they can't stand
each other
living with it, so they want to sell it. So
or someone's in state and out of state. There's a lot more emotional and financial burden to somebody who wasn't anticipating receiving it. That's typically what we see with inherited homes. Now, there are some times where they prepared themselves for it and they know the home is coming in and there's a will or a trust or something involved to pass the property down. And usually there's a plan around it. Right. And most of the time, I think they still sell it or move into it themselves, right? Like they transition into that home. And I just think renting is such an underutilized tool.
I do too.
Like, and you're not biased or anything, but it's just like everybody wants investment properties. This is the simplest one you can get once all the emotional baggage and all that gets taken care of. But essentially, it has to be in a certain condition legally in order to sell it anyway. So you're going through that process.
You need to know who's the new owner, who is the single point of contact, so they can make that decision on what you're going to do. And we always sell our spiel or whatever you want to call it would be we want to rent it out for you for a couple of years, let the family calm down, start making a more educated decision on what they want to do.
Right. Because they're grieving usually, or
a lot of these they had no clue this is going to happen.
Yes, it's a complete shock. Boom. Yes, and I think so. There's a sense of urgency that happens that forces them into a decision quickly, and I think one of it is who's going to pay bills on it, right? It probably has property taxes and utilities and things of that nature, and somebody probably can't afford to do that. So that's usually one of the urgency items. If it does still have a payment on it, then you have a potential, foreclosure issue that you don't want to have be an issue. But I think there's tools and tactics of where you can either potentially refinance it or structure the loan a little differently or cash out some equity. There's things you could do with it without having to completely just offload it. I'm speaking from my own thought of that. I'm sure I have an attorney screaming at me right now. But there's ways that you can at least set yourself up to say, hey, this is my goal. How do we get there? Instead of we just have to sell it because we can't afford it right this second. Because that's what I usually see as an issue. And the probate or will, that can take time. So they've already eaten up 2-3 months and now they have a vacant house sitting. So they get anxious about that as well, which isn't horrible. I mean, we have houses that sit on the market for 100 days at a time vacant for sale and no one's too concerned about that. But it does become really tough. Or if you're not local.
Right.
I think that gets to be really, really tough. The deferred maintenance can be a little scary.
The house hadn't been taken care of
Yes.
in a while, so they're the make ready to get it up to selling or renting. You're probably going to have to do carpets, painting.
And if you don't, you're taking a big haircut on price.
Yes.
And the thing that drives me so crazy now that we're talking about this is there's an entire group of people out there looking to offload, take this off your hands for a premium price.
60 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, 60 cents on the dollar. Even if you came to us and didn't do all the things, we'd probably get you closer to 80 cents on the dollar if you did nothing with it and let us put it on the market.
Right.
But the amount of people who just sell off market to an investor cash only for dirt cheap just to get rid of their problem, they don't realize how much money they're losing out on. So much money. So that's something to consider. Like, if you're in this situation, or they'll go online.
That's one of your pet peeves.
I know. They'll go online and get a cash offer, and then the cash offer comes back, and it's just even more. It's just like, you could have come to one of us, and we could have got you more money.
Right.
And you would have talked to a real human the whole time that actually cares about you getting to the end goal versus someone that wants to line their pockets. So there's my rant of the day. Okay. When life hits hard, late payments, medical bills, job loss, or even the need to move quickly, many homeowners feel trapped. The fastest way out seems to be selling to a cash investor, but that means giving your home away for pennies on the dollar. You don't have to do that. Nearly half of homeowners today are equity rich, and that value belongs to you. With our One Move program, you can unlock that equity immediately, get cash in hand now, and still share in the upside when your home resells. Or, if you'd rather, we'll shop your property to multiple cash buyers so you can choose the best offer instead of settling for one low bid. Go to DunnDealOffers.com and discover the smarter way to get cash fast without losing the equity you've worked so hard to build.
Ever had to leave work to deal with a problem at your rental property? Wonder when the rent check will arrive? Interrupt your family fun to make repairs? Do you worry when one of these issues will happen to you? Maybe it's time for a change. A chance to do the things you want to do. With Real Property Management, the nation's trusted leader in property management, you'll get more from your rental property without the headaches and hassle. We fill vacancies quickly so you can spend time doing the things that are important to you. We screen tenants thoroughly so you can have peace of mind. We collect the rent so you can pay your bills on time. We provide cost-effective, reliable maintenance so you can spend time with your family. We conduct frequent evaluations of your rental property so you can feel comfortable knowing your home is being maintained. We handle evictions so you can avoid confusing legal forms and time in court. We provide online statements and regular communication, so you always know the financial status of your property and feel in control. And through training and support from a nationwide network with over 25 years of experience, we stay up to date and lead the industry, so you can sit back and let us handle the details. Don't spend your time unclogging toilets, chasing down rent payments, and learning how to comply with property management laws. The professionals at your Real Property Management office take on the hassles of property management, so you don't miss out on the things and people important to you.
You've got deferred maintenance. The co-ownership does become an issue. We got to figure out who are we fighting? Are we communicating? Sometimes we're communicating and then we start fighting. Like, I think it makes sense to get the home into one person's name. Just get everybody off the loan or the note or whatever it is, and we have one main person making decisions. Because if we have to get 4 or 5 people to agree to something, somebody's going to stop the progress.
Even with husband and wives, for us, we try to get, you're our point of contact.
Yes.
We'll copy the wife or the husband.
Yep.
But you're our point of contact.
Because otherwise it changes.
We try to define that.
It changes too much. And we're very similar with our clients as well, because you don't they're two different personalities.
Oh, yeah.
And they have different risk aversions and different things. So if you start with one point of contact and then it switches halfway through, it kind of just undoes all the progress you've made. So I think it's important to pick who's going to be point of contact when you're in this situation. And then, understanding it's going to be tough.
Or your owner's going through a divorce. You both have two.
Ugh.
One wants
We've
to
done
rent,
several of those.
One wants to sell.
Luckily, a lot of ours have been very amicable, and eventually one does become point of contact and copies the other. Yep. And they're like, I don't care. I'll just sign wherever you need me to sign because I want to be done with this.
That's right.
There's always one of those. And then there's the one that has all the burden on their shoulders. So then, okay, do we list it or do we lease it? I think depending on how it actually looks. If it's really outdated and needs like a full makeover to bring it to current market standards, it may not be the best candidate if they don't have the money to invest right away, or if there's not enough equity to pull to update it, or they just don't want to deal with it. Then sometimes we'll go to our cash investors at that point and say, hey, we've got an opportunity for you.
Right.
But if it only needs a little bit, we lean on our vendors and spruce it up a little bit and get it to market. It can be a really helpful setup for them.
Increases your value.
Yeah, adds that value in there. Or it's like, okay, it could be a really good rental property because there's a lot of rentals in the area and they all seem to be doing really well. And, this is your cash flow. It's going to come through and you can always sell it later if you want to.
Right.
You're just going to get more equity as you go. The problem is if they need the money to split inheritance or medical bills or, if they are going into assisted living, that's the liquidity part of we need to sell because we have to pay for all that. But I still think sometimes there's an option that's not explored of, is there a creative financing thing we can do with this house to cover that expense and keep the asset?
We always try to recommend you need to talk to your CPA. You need to talk to your attorney.
Yes.
Or somebody that I don't want to get in trouble for practicing it as an attorney and give you advice.
Right.
So,
no, 100%.
They can help you see things that you don't normally see.
Right. I think a lot of times they just don't even think to ask them, or they're too scared to ask. And so they're like, we just have to sell it because that's what we have to do. And the thing is, we're still going to have to talk to those people anyways to get the deal done. So we might as well do it in the front end and figure out what our options are. Yeah. Okay. So then the things to consider when you have an inherited home, you've got obviously some sort of probate or title concerns that you have to work through. Potential capital gains to talk to your CPA about.
Right.
And then whether you should sell it as is or try to update it for more profit. Like those are some things you're going to come across. Those are probably the three biggest questions. And the concern is most people are too emotionally drained to even start those conversations.
What are your updates what's your three biggest updates?
I would say paint, flooring, and potential
counters.
Either counters, depending on the status that they're in. Yeah, it's kitchens and bathrooms that people love, right? But then sometimes it's also curb appeal that might need to be done because they haven't done yard maintenance in forever. And then the other fun thing is, how old is that roof? Because it's going to come up in inspection. Most likely it's not going to be insurable. Do we got to put a roof on this? So that's another thing we usually have to account for because it's coming up. And if not, it's going to lose a lot of money in concessions. And you're probably going to have to do it prior to close anyways to get it to close.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I would say kitchens, bathrooms, and then in this market where staging is as much of a cosmetic update as paint is right now. And depending on the price point of the house, you may not have to do a full stage, but it always pays for itself. The staging always pays for itself. But yeah, those are definitely probably our top. But flooring and paint they cover the biggest surface area of the house, so it makes the biggest impact. And usually the ROI is the highest for those items.
Right.
So those are easy to do. And then, countertops are tough. I've sold houses without countertops switched. I died inside while we did it, but there wasn't budget for it, and we still sold them. But they're really not that expensive. No. They're not that bad.
They're not.
But, okay, so leasing the property, when would be a smarter plan for you if there's a really good long-term rental demand in the area. Like if people there's some school districts that people just want to get in and rent because they want to put their kid in that school for so many years.
Just for school.
Yes, and then they're going to come out and they don't want to buy.
We have one property that they happen to be across the street from the high school. We signed them to a 6-year lease. They had 4 kids that they wanted all 4 of them to go to the same high school.
Okay.
And my only concern was I hope they don't rezone it. being across the street from the school, you hope
you would stay
be on the right side of the road.
Yes. So then you also have like, you're just emotionally not ready to let the property go. So rent it out then. We mentioned you grew up in the home, or it's just got a lot of memories for you. I mean, that's most residential real estate decisions are emotional. Like most of the things that my clients do are based on emotion. I have to logically help them get there, right? But most of it's an emotional reason.
Well, what's crazy, they want to keep the house, but they don't want to move into it.
Right.
It's just the fact of giving it to somebody else is so difficult.
Yes.
And that drives me crazy.
You got to pick one, or you can't have both. Yep. You got to have both. So then, or it just has really strong cash flow potential. Like it makes sense to hold on to it then. If there's like no mortgage left on it or really low balance left on it, sometimes it makes sense, especially if you have a family member going into an assisted living, right? Like that could help pay that bill monthly versus, well, we want the whole cash up front. And sometimes it doesn't make sense after talking to a CPA that you may not be able to keep all of that cash, or they might not be able to keep all the cash. But if you can set it up to be, you're getting a check every month to offset the balance, that helps out.
We had a house we rented out 7 or 8 years ago where the lady was moving into assisted living, and we were getting her like $3,000 for rent each month. That supplemented with her Social Security. It was more than paying her assisted living, and then she had spending money.
Right, exactly. Because the problem that you see once you start getting older and you're doing that transitional phase is you have money, but it can only last you so many years. And the question is like, what if I live longer than that?
These are bonus dollars.
Yeah, like what do I live beyond that? Then I run out of that money, and I have no more assets to pull from. So this is a great way to. If anything, you should just making more money off of it because it should be appreciating, and maybe the rents go up and your payments go down and you have tax write-off. You have all those benefits of a rental property. And so many families just think, nope, we have to sell it because I need that cash right now. And they are too short-sighted in their grief or just the emotional baggage of it to realize this could be a 10-year phase. It may not be just 2 years or 5 years. Like the way health has been and the medicine and access to care that everybody can have, they live way longer than they anticipate living. What else should you plan for if you're going to lease the property out? You definitely should set it up for property management. Like if you don't want to handle the baggage of dealing with a sale or not a sale, you don't want to deal with being a DIY landlord. Like, so be ready for that. Upgrading the key features for renters. So I think year-end appliances are huge for renters, right?
We're putting more and more new appliances in. More people are expecting, if it's not brand new, then they want
at least the appliances are new.
Fairly new.
Yes. And then probably paint and flooring as well for you.
Yes.
Countertops, are those big for you?
Not
always?
Not as much.
Okay. Anything else beside appliances, paint and countertops?
Yard size.
Okay.
And what's in the area? What the
location. Amenities. Yeah. That's fair. And then establishing the rental rate, especially if you're co-owning with the family. So I think that is a big conversation to have with multiple family owners that, okay, this is the rate, here are the comps. Is everyone on board with how much this is? Because
I always tell them, until I get an email from each one of you, we're not moving forward.
Right.
And
it usually works out. There's always one. There's always one that's busy.
Yep.
Okay, so not a bad plan. So you inherit the home. You got to lean on your experts in the beginning to just get it set up to either lease out or sell, because we can't even come into the picture till that's figured out. And then from there, let's step back emotionally and go, okay, what's the smarter idea long-term for your goals?
What's your long-term goal?
What do you want to do? And then from there, we decide, okay, let's get it to market or let's get it out for lease.
Right.
And then see what happens. And it might be a I think that would make a lot of people feel so much better in the process, but instead they get so caught up in all the things because
the details.
They're not expecting this to happen. And so hopefully this episode helps them with those steps if they're coming across this, and we can at least, bring a little bit of some clarity to a situation that's probably not something ideal at the time, but you don't want the emotions to overshadow your potential that you could have with your investments. Right. So that's what we're here to do, is find the clarity through all the noise. Right.